After we had our third son, Tate, I was still in a lot of pain after having him. I had a horrible back pain, like I felt like I was still in labor, having back labor all the time. So went to the doctor, and they thought it was my uterus, and so they wanted to do a hysterectomy, which we did. I was 27 at the time. So we did a hysterectomy, hoping that it would help the pain go away, and it didn't. So a few months later, went to a back specialist, thinking maybe that it was my back, because that's where most of the pain was. And they told me that I had degenerative disc disease, so they needed to replace one of the discs in my back with a titanium disc, an artificial disc. So we had that surgery that same year, and hoping, that it would take the pain away and that I would be able to function and be a mommy and do all the things that I needed to do. And so after that surgery, I found that the pain came back. It was still there. And so doctors were just stumped. They didn't know what to do after that. They had done everything they knew, and so they sent me to a pain specialist, and they started me on some pain medicine. And I took it for a while, and it helped with the pain, but soon the pain, I became tolerant to it, and it wasn't helping as much anymore. And so they had to up the dosage until I was on 300 milligrams of OxyContin a day. We moved to Katy to launch Grace Fellowship North. I'd been diagnosed at that point with rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia, and not really able to function. Spent most of my time on the couch or in bed until the boys got home from school, and then I had a couple of hours of energy to take care of them. In November, after moving here in January, I got really, really sick with what I thought was the flu, but it wasn't going away, and I was just coughing and miserable. And so one day we went to the emergency room, and fully expecting it to be the flu, for them to just give me some medicine and send me home. And after being there for a while, the doctor came in after he'd taken a chest x-ray and a CAT scan, and told me that I wasn't going home, that they had found a 6.5 centimeter tumor in my right lung, and they highly suspected that it was lung cancer, which was devastating news, obviously, for us. That very next Sunday, Jeff was supposed to preach at Original Campus about the goodness of God. And so we really had to wrestle that week with, do we believe that God is good even when our circumstances don't show us his goodness? Do we believe that he's good in spite of what our circumstances say? And so about 3 weeks after the diagnosis, I was supposed to go in for a biopsy, and the doctor wanted to do a PET scan before the biopsy to see exactly where the tumor was, the outline of it, and all of that. And so I went in to do that, and I was supposed to have the biopsy the very next day. So we got up at 5 the next morning to go to the biopsy, and got a phone call as we were walking out the door from the lung specialist that said we did not need to come in because there was no tumor there. There was no sign that had ever been there, and it was completely gone. So God did a miracle on our behalf that day.
Let faith arise. In spite of what I see, Lord, I believe. But help my unbelief, I choose to trust you. No matter what I feel, let faith arise.
So God heals me completely of this tumor in my lung. And now I had this wrestling going on in my mind. If God is big enough to completely remove a tumor from my lung in a matter of 3 weeks and miraculously do that, why was he allowing me to struggle with this pain for 7 years at that point? I had been crying out to him every day to heal me. I had been checking my spirit. Was there some unconfessed sin in me that I needed to take care of? Was God punishing me? Where was his love for me? And just really struggling with why? Why would he not miraculously heal me from the other? Wondering where he was in all of this. But another thing that happened in me when he healed me is that I began to get this desire in me to live, to be healed, to not just accept that I was just going to live my life doped up on pain medication and on the couch forever. I began to get this fire. He began to light a fire in me to live and to want to accomplish his purposes for my life. And so for about a year, just really wrestled with it. And then the beginning of 2015, we started the 40-day prayer experiment. And honestly, at that point, I had just pretty much given up hope that God was ever going to heal me. I still asked him, but I just didn't think he would. And so we sat down with our boys and asked them what it was that they wanted to see God do through the whole thing. And we began to make a list of things they wanted to see. And then it was Jeff's turn, and when it was his turn for us to write it down, he said he wanted to see me healed. And even at that point, when he said that, I was thinking, oh yeah, God, that would be great, but I've been asking for 9 years now, and so I'm just gonna, if you want to do it, great. If not, great, And so really not even really believing that he would. And so we wrote it down and we stuck it on the fridge, and that was probably the beginning of January. So January 22nd, I was sitting in my living room, and Jeff was up at church. The boys were at school. Just another day by myself, hanging out on the couch, hurting, and just began to get so desperate. Just this desperation started rising up in me, and just began to cry out to the Lord like I never had before. Just, Jesus, I need you to come. I need you to set me free. I need you to heal me. I know you can heal me. You've shown me that you can heal me. Would you just come and do it? And I just began to cry that out over and over and over to him. And I heard him speak so clearly in that moment. And he said, baby, you got to trust me. I'm going to set you free, but you have got to trust me. And right now, oxycodone is the Lord of your life. It's what you run to for your pain. It's what you run to for your anxiety. It's what you take first thing in the morning, every morning, to start your day. And I want to be that. I want to be Lord of your life. And so you have to trust me, and we've got to let that go. You've got to go to detox and get off of that medicine. And for me, that was terrifying, because I had known what it felt like to run out of medicine. I had known how sick I had gotten and how much I just wanted to die when that happened. And so the thought of getting off of that medication terrified me. But I knew that I wanted Jesus in that moment more than I wanted anything else. So 4 days later, I checked in to detox. I was terrified. It was the scariest thing I've ever done. But in me giving up control of that area of my life and that thing that I was holding on to and running to, Jesus came, and he began something in me that has been the most incredible journey of my life.
Let faith arise, for my champion's not dead, he is alive. Oh, and he already knows my every need. Surely he will come and rescue me.
So Romans 8 says that God works all things together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. And so one of the most painful parts of this process has been having to feel again, having to deal with just feelings that we all feel, but I have not felt them in so long. And so it's painful and it hurts, but I'm having to just trust in the promises of God that he's going to work all of these things together for my good, and that there are beautiful things coming on the other side of this. My favorite verse in this whole process, and my anthem verse that I claim all the time, is Revelation 12:11, and it says, "They overcame the enemy by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony." And so I'm just believing that every time I speak of what God is doing and has done, that I'm overcoming the enemy by the blood of the Lamb and the word of my testimony.